We're smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning and welcome to Business Express. I've been joined by Rotus Oddiri this morning and Fisayo Durojaye. But first, I want to make welcome Rotus Oddiri to Business Express, the Tech Friday edition. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Omas. Good morning, Fisayo, and good morning to every one of our listeners out there.
Welcome, Fisayo.
Yeah, thank you, Omas. Good morning, Rotus. Good morning, everyone watching and listening.
All right, so let's dig into this one quickly, and that's relating today on the table for us. We're looking at digital skill acquisition in Nigeria. How far so far, how well so far, and other sundry issues. So, Rotus, to get us started this morning, help us understand this celebration of a 500 downloads to an app for digital literacy. Should we be celebrating? Because it falls from the background, the founder and CEO of Money Africa just announced via a tweet, and which you shared with me, that their financial literacy app for children just crossed 500 downloads, and they aim to make it 10,000 by the end of the year. Rotus, walk us through this one.
Yeah, I was just surprised by the number, because a lot of folks use Money Africa. They are a popular financial literacy outfits, telling people about savings and investments and so on. So when I saw her tweet, I thought I wasn't seeing properly. I thought was it 5,000 downloads that she wrote, or was there a zero missing? I was kind of surprised because she has about 156,000 followers. The Money Africa account itself has 49,000, and unless a number of the followers are not parents or something, the downloads, I was just struck by the number. I thought it was pretty small. But even the Dr. Bosun Tijani retweeted her and said, "Hey, can we get to 10,000 downloads by the end of the week?" So, Fisaya, you're in the entertainment space. Do downloads? Yeah. What did you make of those numbers? Because I was struck. I won't lie.
Just before Fisaya, as you walk us into this one, also, please, I just want to make a case. Maybe it's autocorrect that did that thing. That's why it's 500. But Fisaya, walk in this one.
No. So again, I don't think it's Money Africa that she's referring to. She's referring to a financial literacy app for kids. So I think that's a new one, and I think it just launched. So it just launched. When people do is that they do a launch awareness, like, oh, our app is now up. That awareness, but for all intent and purpose, maybe Tosin is not ready to spend money, on that kind of awareness. But of course, he recognized that yes, I have 100 and something thousand followers myself. I have all of this connection. I can use this as my, launch announcement, as it were. So, and I think that's what he's doing. But irrespective of whatever Tosin is trying to achieve with this tweet, I also think that I remembered when what's it called? Main One announced that they have exited. I think they sold for a couple of hundreds of millions of dollars. And some people are complaining that it was too small. It was too small, that it should be worth more. I'm like, are we really joking here? Right? So for me, while we are used to all the big announcements around, we are doing 1 billion, we are doing this billion, we are doing that billion. Right. I think that people should learn that even if you're going to do 1 billion, it starts from those numbers, 500. Because even at 500, that's 500 individual parents or individuals thinking that your app is worth downloading. I think it's worth celebrating, right? Because I don't want founders to put themselves under the pressure to think that they have to be doing billions before they can, mention in the public, And that's one thing that this tweet give to me as based on what Tosin had done, right? So I'm not particularly worried. I think it's a good strategy to say, yes, I have 500 now. I'm going to get 10,000 in 2 months, right? Help me get that. Right. So that I can get people off that pressure of saying that, because again, many founders have been under pressure to start lying about their numbers in public. Just say we're already processing this, we're already processing that, only to find out that all of those is a lie. Right. So I think having these numbers and letting people know that there is actually a process of getting to 1 million. It starts from 500, it starts from 100, that's from 2 downloads, and that's what it has done. And I really enjoy that.
Rotus, I like
Hold on, because I think, yeah, maybe I shouldn't get too stuck on the numbers. I don't know if I'm confusing myself with how Twitter does the month-day thing. I always get confused because how is it? Is it because Twitter is American, so it should be month and then day, right? And then year, right? Or are they doing the day? Anyway, she has a tweet here. It's 9/10/2023. I'm not sure if that's October the 9th or September the 10th. But when that tweet was sent, she said small wins, 100 plus downloads for the, you're right, for the Money Africa Kids. Yeah, but so it's for the Money Africa Kids app. And it was 100 downloads on either October the 9th or September the 10th. So that first tweet that said 100 downloads was either last month or 2 months ago. Right.
Yeah.
So between from 100 to 500, just 400 downloads in so I don't know, I'm just struck. I mean, that's
4x. Rotus, that's 4 times. Think about the percentages. That's 400% growth in 2 months.
Okay. Well, I feel, I don't know, maybe because I feel the number is small, you know. I would have 1,000 or 2,000.
Rotus is a numbers man. Rotus talks business every day. So for him, 500 now. So Rotus, for me,
it's 400% growth. You're looking at absolute numbers, but if I'm saying that, we grew 400% in 2 months.
Okay.
What does that sound like?
I know, but she has over 150,000 followers, and the account. So Twitter is hype then. So Twitter followers are hype.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I've never seen the tweet. I follow her on Twitter, but I've not even seen the tweet at all until today. You brought it to me. So many of us have not even seen it. So I'm going to look for it to go and download it now because I'm now aware of it.
But Fisayo, see, there's a point I get the connection Rotus is trying to make. If I have 156,000 followers, it's like trying to leverage on that 156 to say, hey guys, I have this new app out for children, so lash onto it. So if at least, even if not all 156,000 can go onto it, that means if, let's say, 50,000 would just download it for their kids, that's something.
Listen, it's not as easy. Again, so let's look at the demographics of Twitter. For all intents and purposes, Twitter is largely male, right? Because again, it's a violence app, right? Many men are not involved in their children's education, as it were, right? If it's maybe Instagram, for instance, it's a different conversation, right? That can be more female than male, like from activity perspective. That's number one. Number two is that Twitter is also very young, young population type. Many of them might not have kids yet. Right. And many of our followers are also very young people. So they might not have kids yet. So of that 140,000 people that are following her, maybe a few of us have kids, right? Maybe 10, 20% of those have kids. So again, we have to put that number in perspective. But for me, I don't even care. I don't mind, right? It's okay to have 500 downloads in 2 months. It's okay. Don't put people under pressure to always think, I mean, did you give her money for marketing? She has not raised money for this app. So, because, and this is how things are built from ground up. It takes time. Look at how quickly Threads got to 100 million. Look at how quickly it has gone back to zero activity. Right? So it's not about the number of downloads. Even the downloads is just a vanity metric. It's about how many people will stay on for the next 10 years to keep on using this app. And those are the things I want to see. Those are the things I want to measure.
All right, so this is a fine place for me to get to the clients and the listener now. When they get onto media apps or financial apps or social media apps, are they really moved by numbers to patronize services online? Is what we would like to know this morning. So feel free to give us a call on 01, to send us a WhatsApp message on 0809-444-0981. We'll read those messages shortly. So that takes us to the second leg of this conversation this morning, where they intend to build or set up coding clubs across schools for children around the age of 7 to 17 by the ICT and Digital Economy Minister. So where do we go from here, Rotus?
Yeah, I mean, there's just been, I wanted to get Fisayo's thoughts on these constant partnerships for coding schools across the country. Because if you see where, well, yeah, I mean, are they Are they working? I feel like there were a lot of partnerships with the last ministry, and now it looks like this ministry is now starting again. So Fisaya, where do you see things with these coding schools and so on?
Okay, so one thing I've learned. So I've spoken to a lot of developers eventually. One thing we found out is that a lot of times people feel that coding schools, 3 months, 6 months of quick coding schools, don't necessarily turn out the best of people, right? However, people that went to coding schools, if they need, it's like going to university. The fact that you studied finance in university doesn't mean you can work in an investment bank when you show up. But of the 200 people in your class, maybe 2 or 3 of those would have, figured out while in school that, well, this thing I'm being taught in economics doesn't make sense. Let me go and learn how to build financial models. Let me go and learn how to use PowerPoint. Many people didn't make a presentation all through their 4 years in school. Let me go and figure out how to stand in front of a crowd and lead all of those things. So those are things that happen. So coding school, as far as I'm concerned, is like awareness. If you depend on it as a graduate, you probably won't get far. So it's those set of people that got exposure to say, okay, this is what coding looks like. This is what it looks like. Oh, okay, I'm going to take this knowledge, which is at the barest minimum baseline. I'm going to take this knowledge that is the very baseline and start doing free contribution to public, to public platforms, right? I'll start doing free jobs, right? So that I get better and get better and get better till I become, a useful developer, as it were. Given that way. So my point is that it's great to have coding schools. It's great to have more coding schools because we need more people to have exposure to it. But much more than the exposure, what you do afterwards. What you do afterwards. I think that's where the most important.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Fisaya. Thank you, Rotus. It's time to get to the clients. We've got messages waiting already, and it's quite interesting for you to see. Yinka Bolu sent in this one. It says, Fisaya, Twitter is a young population about. You know my age. One more age, that's what it was going to say there. Funny enough, when I see the fellas, especially young guys who say they are not on Twitter, I look at them with one kind eye, like, normal. But let's get on to why. So let's see. Wahid Bello has this conversation. You see why Rotus always gets us on this conversation. So Wahid Bello sends us this one. It says, I'm just hearing about this Money Africa app, and I receive Money Africa email and will download it in the app for my kids. That's what, so at least there's one person going to that app from this conversation. So it's a win already. So you see why engagements like these are very important. Then Taya would come up with a message this morning saying, the app is a subset of what she generally offers. Our marketing approach is organic. She's aware of a particular demand, but in no rush to jump the highway about it. Let her breathe. Don't suffocate her ambition. We owe her that responsibility. That's what Taya had to say. And then final message from Peter from E4. It says, thank you, Fisaya, for your stance on this Money Africa number. Let us appreciate organic and sustainable growth that will stand the test of time than put founders under unnecessary pressure. Peter from E4. Then one is here for Rotus. Rotus, this one says from Chukwuemeka, I love the perspective, Fisaya. Organic growth is a good thing to celebrate. Having a small business that starts organically myself, I totally understand the growth process, and this is not to dismiss Rotus' perspective as well. The engagement is what matters, though. Kudos to her. You have it, Rotus, and that's a wrap on the show this morning.
Fisaya, thank you. Fisaya, thanks for joining us. Omas, thank you. Thanks to everybody for the messages. And the weekend is here. I want to rest. So nice.
And it's a time truly well spent because you can see the response we got already. And so if they too would go ahead, it will multiply and help organic growth. So summary, Fisaya, do not despise the days of little beginning. That's what you're advocating. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye. Thanks to everyone who listened and who sent in messages. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.